that right? If the hacker sees that, they say, oh, it's person B, and yet the hash looks the same. So what that means is that these two people are using the same password. So if I can either break into this person or either break into this person, I can break into both. You see? So that would be one type of problem if you're just using a hash, right? But if you use a keyed hash, so if you add, even though the passwords are the same, okay, let's say the key is something like a current time. So if you put plus time here, and hopefully it's not the same time when this person passes it. If you add the time and if you hash this thing, it's not going to look like XXXXX. Okay? But the issue here is that now the server side has to understand, you know, B is using certain time, A is using certain time, and they're different, so they have to be able to maintain it so that they can apply the time to the original, you know, value. In fact, they can't just maintain a hash; they have to actually have the password, and then add the time, and you have to be able to hash this thing to compare it. Right. So it's a little bit more complex if you were to add the time, but as the hacker that's looking at it, these two passwords look different now, even though in reality is the same. Okay. So that's the value of keyed hash. Right. And there's another concept called the rainbow table. So here it is. So there was an actual hack by the Russian guy. I'm not sure if he was in any type of you know, like some kind of mafia or not. I'm not sure. Broke in to a U.S. financial organization. It was almost like a bank, but it was not a bank. But the financial organization maintained people's paychecks, and they issued them look like an ATM card, so they can, you know, go ahead and download the money, get the money from the ATMs. Okay. Download the money, right? So then, what the guy did was he went into the database that had all the information about the account. So the account numbers were there, so the ATM numbers were there, okay? But the pins were all hashed, okay? But they were just hashed without a key, and pins are 4-digit numbers. So then you say, how many combinations of 4-digit numbers are there? Well, it's 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. Well, actually, no. 0 through 9. So it's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Right? So it's 0 through 9. Okay? So it's 10 to the 4th. Right? So it's a big number, but you can still do it using a computer. Then he went ahead and hashed everything. So he had like a dictionary of all the 4-digit numbers and their hashes using a specific hash algorithm. Let's say MD5, SHA-1, what have you. Okay? And then when he went into the database, he took, out of like hundreds of accounts, he only took maybe like 15, I think, accounts. Just why did he do that? Why did he not just go for all of it? But why did he just go for 15 accounts among like the hundreds of accounts? Any ideas? Why was he trying to crack into just like 15 accounts out of hundreds? Well, it was actually to evade. So he was thinking that if he did a whole bunch of it, the admin was going to catch him. But if he only did just a little bit of it, maybe they won't catch him. Okay, so he targeted like 15 accounts. I think it was 15, but it's really small. And then he took those hashed pins, okay, and put them against the dictionary that he had, and he was able to find, you know, the pins because the hashes match, because there's no key to it, right? So now he has the account number and the pins, and he took those information, and on top of that, he wanted to withdraw money from those accounts, but you have upper limits, right? So he actually modified the upper limits for those 15 accounts. He modified them, okay, so that he could actually withdraw a lot of money. And then he hired these people called the mules. So the mules are the arms and legs of the actual hacker, and gave each one of them the white, what's called the white plastic, which had the account number. It looks like an ATM card, and had all these mules place themselves in different countries. I think it was around, I'm not sure if it was around 12 countries or it was all different countries. And at the same time, same day, same time, taking into account the time differences, it says, okay, I want every one of you to go to an ATM. Here's the PIN. Here's the account number. Use this card and then withdraw thousands and thousands of dollars. And altogether, I think he was able to download, close to like $1 million. Okay, all at once, right? You do it all at once, so that the reaction time of the bank or the financial institution doesn't catch up. And then boom, they just run, right? And so, and on the report, they said that the bank actually had a encrypted the PIN, right? Yeah, it's encrypted, but look, it's a hash. It's not like real encryption, right? I mean, it is encryption, but it's not really meant to be like, encryption. You know what I mean? It's used for integrity purposes. So, and on top of that, they didn't key the hash. So he was able to break the 4-digit PIN very easily. Okay, so there you go. This is called the rainbow table attack. Okay, so that would be another reason why you probably want to use some kind of a keyed hash if they're going to be using a hash at all. Okay, any questions on that? Any questions? Let me pour some coconut water and I'll be ready to go. Okay, so if there are no questions, we will move out of the hash and go into cryptographic attacks. I believe that's the next section. Okay. Go back to the presentation material. All right. Okay, so there it is. It's keyed hash, HMAC. Cryptographic attacks. Okay, so these are the attacks that people use to try to break cryptography, encryption. So they're trying to get from the ciphertext to the plain text without having the knowledge of the key. Right? So there is a brute force. So you're brute forcing a key. Okay, so I think this is a key. Stick it in, try and see if it comes out. Okay, and the brute force, right? You say, okay, so here's a ciphertext. I don't know what the plain text is. Question mark, question mark. So let me stick it into the deciphering algorithm using the key and see if I could get something meaningful out of it. Okay, so that's basically a brute force attack. Known plain text attack. The known plain text. Okay, so the known plain text is this. The attacker has some instances, samples of the plain text. The attacker didn't have a choice as to what he got. It says, this is interesting, he got that. And, as an encryption for that, he has G hash mark @ 0s % mark. Okay? And he has another one that says, I would be late. And then you have, PQS caret _ TS. Right? So he said, I wonder if there's any kind of a pattern here. Right? So he knows the plain text. And he has both pieces, but only thing he does not have is the key. So he's trying to figure out the key. Okay? The next one is called the chosen plain text. Now, with chosen plain text, it is an extension of the known plain text. Remember, I told you with the known plain text, you don't really have an option as to what plain text you're looking at. Right? You just got it for some reason. But with the chosen plain text, you can choose. You can set, and let's say it's today is Wednesday. Okay, so you put that in through, and you get encryption. Encrypted ciphertext, and then you say this, right? Or you say today, and then you get then you put that through and say, okay, you put that through, Wednesday, put that through, and see if you see what I mean. You can actually pick and choose, and you're actually doing analysis as to say, when I put that in, what do I get? When I put that in, what do I get? When I put that in, what do I get? Okay, so you're looking for patterns. So that would be chosen plain text. Okay, chosen ciphertext goes the other way. You can decrypt. So you say, I'll take this garbage, that I have and see what it comes out. I'll put that in there. What does it come out? I'll put that in there. What comes out? So you're doing the opposite. Okay. But once again, only thing you don't have is a key. Okay. I will talk about the meat in the middle attack. Let's talk about the differential cryptanalysis and linear cryptanalysis. I'll talk about it. They're all in the same place. So the differential cryptanalysis is you're putting plain text 0 and plain text 1. You're sticking into the cipher without the key. You don't know the key. You get out of it ciphertext 0 and ciphertext 1, and you do a differential analysis. Right? What is the difference? Okay, so that's an equation. Right? That's an analysis. Linear analysis, same thing. The only part that's different between differential analysis and linear analysis is the red part, the type of analysis that you do on those two outputs that you get. And you get the potential keys from it. Okay. I have no idea how do you do this thing. Okay. I don't know what differential. I've heard about it. I think I probably even did it in college. I don't remember it. I think I'm blocking it out. Okay. But anyway, differential analysis, linear analysis. That's all you need to know about that. Okay. For the exam. But hey, if you know more, that's great. Okay. Side channel attack is also known as the rubber hose attack. So I think you probably get an idea from that. The no key attack is not in your, it's not testable. I just have it in there to be complete. Okay. So now, what's left now is the meat in the middle attack. Okay, meat in the middle attack. So let's take a look at this. Middle attack. So the meat in the middle attack is actually specifically an attack to attack triple des. Okay, triple des. So let's take a look at how we do that on the whiteboard. Okay. All right, breaking triple des. So let's take a look at and remember what triple des looks like. Triple des has plain text, okay, and you take that plain text, stick it into des, okay, you use the first key. See, there's a key 1, okay, and you get an output from that. So the output that you get would be an encrypted, right? So it's a ciphertext. Then you take that, right? And then you put it in the second des with a key using the second key. And out of that, ciphertext 3. Well, ciphertext 2, sorry. Okay, and then you take that and you stick it in to the another algorithm one more time, des, by using third key. Okay, and the output of that is the final output. You have the ciphertext 3, right? So that is triple des, pretty simply, right? 3 times 3 different keys. Okay. So how to break it? Well, I'm sure there are many ways to break this because it's known to be vulnerable. So the idea is that what do you have available as a hacker? As a hacker, you have this available and you have this available. Okay, so that's the requirement for doing the meat in the middle attack. So you know that they're des, so that's not a question. The only thing you don't have is key 1, key 2, and key 3. Okay, so then you say, I'm going to guess, right? It's a guessing game. So I'm going to guess the key 1. Here's a guess for key 1. Okay, and he's going to guess key 3. Then goes the opposite direction. So he will take this information and decrypt it using the guessed key 3. So with that, you get ciphertext 2 because you're going in this direction. Okay. Now he's going to take this thing and use key 1, where he's going to get ciphertext 1 with a guessed key. So now he needs to guess the key 2. So if he guesses the key 2 correctly, he's going to guess key 2. Okay. Decrypting C2 using key 2 should get you CT1. And encrypting this using the key should actually get you CT2. Right? Isn't that right? Okay. So if he gets the point where this works, then he knows that these keys were all correct. And because it's right in the middle, it is meet in the middle. Any questions on that? That is meet in the middle attack. One thing I do have to warn you is that meet in the middle attack looks very, very similar to man in the middle attack. Okay, so in the exam, I'm sure they won't use this word. Okay, but if you see it someplace else, just be careful. And also, even in an exam, meet in the middle and man in the middle may look very similar if you're really in a hurry and reading these exams in a hurry. So be careful. Read the question properly. Okay. All right. Any questions on that in the meet in the middle attack? Okay, so let me just go ahead and save this. All right, moving on. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go for, sorry about that, implementing cryptography. Okay, implementing cryptography looks like this. So we know about digital signatures, right? So we're pretty much okay, isn't it? So you take the hash and you use your private key and then encrypt it and you send it off. You attach the certificate with a public key and you give it to the other side and they'll verify it, right? And of course the certificate has the third party verification that you are who you say who you are. That is authenticity of source. So the other party said, look, okay, I trust this certificate. That's why I trust this person. Okay, and if they can actually decrypt the hash and then you take the hash of the original document, compare it, that means you were successful in decrypting it using the public key. That means it was signed using, it was encrypted using the private key of this particular person. So bam, there you go. That's a digital signature. So it is for non-repudiation, and for something like an SSH. Because this example uses a certificate, it is also used for authentication and also integrity of document because you use a hash. Okay, so there you go. Public key infrastructure, we kind of alluded to this, but not completely. Okay, so let's take a look at it. PKI uses symmetric, asymmetric, and hash function to provide and manage digital certificates. And in the TLS example that I gave, I've explained about X.509 format, right? 3 areas, 1, 2, 3. The first one is all the information about this particular server and the certificate information. Attached to it, the public key for that server. The second piece is the hash algorithm that is used by the CA to hash the section number 1. And then on the third part, you place the hash value digitally signed using the CA signature. Okay, so that would be X.509 format. That's PKI. So the PKI concepts. Now this looks very similar to the advanced innovative. That's right, advanced innovative questions, right? That has something to do with PKI. Okay. So here, before talking about this, right, let's talk about some PKI concepts. So CA, someone or thing that issues certificates, okay? But before the CA issues a certificate, somebody actually has to do a due diligence check on it, on the person or the server that's asking for the certificate. So it's usually, offline. It's usually, like if it's a person, you ask the person to come in, hey, let me show me your ID. Okay, I confirm. Okay, so now let's just go and forward your request. Or it could be somewhere in between, depending upon the type of certificate that you get and how much you pay for it. The cheaper one, they just only do online checking, I think. But usually it takes like 3 to 4 hours for them to verify your status, and then issues a certificate. So that's what RAs do. VA is a verification authority. It verifies the certificate. So if a e-commerce store receives a certificate, let's say from someone who wants to buy something, they signed the order, and it came attached with the certificate. You say, well, how do I know if this is good, right? Well, in the TLS example, the browser has something called the root CAs, trusted root CAs. That is the VA function. You have the root CAs, you compare, right, and say, yes, this is indeed came from this particular CA. So that would be the VA function. Okay. The difference between the reason why you need a CRL. Okay. By the way, how many of you have actually managed PKI or set up PKI? None of you? Okay. So, running a PKI is a real risky business because PKI really have to be secure. Okay. So, but putting that aside, on the side, just assume that it's okay. I think I told you I go to Japan like on a monthly basis. In fact, I'm going to Japan next week. And I used to work at the U.S. Embassy in Japan, and I have a friend. I have some friends there. And one time when I went back to Japan, I said, hey, let's have lunch. So we were meeting in Tokyo, and she was late and she was running. And I saw her running across the intersection. The light is about to change. And then all of a sudden from a pocketbook, right, this card flies out. Her ID card flies out. And it's called a CAT card, and it's given to all the DoD employees. It serves as an ID card, but it also has the secret key. The public key and the private key combination, as well as the certificate. Okay, so it's all in there. So she needs that to get into the embassy, needs that to get into her room, needs that to get into her computers, and she needs it everywhere. Flies out, right? Too late for her to go back to the intersection because the cars are now coming in. So she's standing on one side, crossing her fingers, right, that nothing bad was going to happen to her CAT card. And of course, they do happen. So about 3 cars ran over it. So when the light turned, she went to go pick it up, and she said, I hope this thing is still good, okay? And we were kind of laughing about it, joking. Of course, after lunch, she went back to work, and of course it doesn't work, okay? So she had to go to another base nearby and then get it reissued, okay? So here it is. In that story, which is a true story, by the way, okay? I called her later, and it took her like 6 hours to get reissued. But the fact that the CAT card was they were able to reissue it. What does that say about who has? I mean, what does that say about this whole management of her secret, private key and public key and the certificate? Gary. In this case, no. She just got it replaced. It was not revoked. And the card was reissued because it was broken. Okay? So, Terry, it would have been right to revoke? That's exactly right, Christopher. They have it on file someplace. That's what it means, right? So, Terry, they would have revoked it if she had lost it. Doesn't sound secure. I know. But but it's one of these ID cards, and it's not like you get to generate private key and a public key combination on it. They give it to you, right? So yeah, so I'm not sure, but it also sounds like Big Brother to me, right? And of course, you're working for the government. Your secrets aren't your secrets. I mean, your secrets are nation secrets. So people have right to access those things, I suppose. Okay. The fact that she knew that it was broken, and she was able to give the card back and say, look, here it's busted. Okay, that's why they just reissued it. Okay, with the key pairs and the certificate that was already there someplace. Now, what would have happened though? Let's say the thing didn't fly out. Okay, and we just had lunch, and then she goes back and she looks in the pocketbook and she reaches for it, and there's no card. Now that's in question, isn't it? She doesn't know where she lost it. Maybe it was stolen. In that case, Terry, it would be revoked. It'll have to be revoked, right? Because somebody already may have it. They may have purposefully stolen it. Okay, so if they stole it, they could sign it herself. They can actually read, stuff as herself. So they can do a lot of things as her. Okay, so in that case, it must be revoked. Okay, now given that, let's go back to what they say about the key concepts. Certificate revocation lists are all these certificates that are revoked, and if the certificates are revoked, the public key is also revoked. The public key is also revoked. The private key is revoked. Okay, it's unusable. So in this case, it lists the certificates that have been revoked, and it used to be that there will be a central repository where this CRL is constantly updated. Okay, but it wasn't in real time. So there was a window of opportunity where someone could actually pretend to be somebody else before everybody got this word that says, oh, hey, this certificate is been revoked, don't use it. Okay, so the CRL was not an efficient process, both in searching for which CRLs have been revoked and also updating the CRLs, the repository itself. So they said, look, it's just too much risk here, let's change it. So they changed it to what's called the Online Certificate Status Protocol. Okay, and what it does is it's client server, and it's real-time updates and real-time checking, and it's more efficient because it's more like a database. It used not be like a database, but now it is. It's almost like a database that you can search on keys. Okay, so there you go. That is the OCSP. Now let's take a look at this whole process. All right, let's take a look at this thing. On the bottom left, you have a person who already has a key pair. Okay, so that's the way it's supposed to be, right? This person is the one that's supposed to generate the key pair. Now, this is almost like the TLS example, so you should be able to follow this along with me. It's that public key, which is the yellow key, okay, creates certificate signing request, CSR, which is that little thing that looks like a postcard, attaches the public key to it and sends it to the RA. RA will do due diligence check to make sure that this person is exactly who he says he is, okay, and then gives a seal of approval to the certificate signing request, the CSR, and send it back to the CA. CA creates the certificate, and of course the way they create it is exactly the way I told you when we created the X.509 certificate on the TLS example. So please go ahead and revert to that. And the CA gives back or sends, makes available the certificate attached to it, the public key, right, of this person, and signed by the CA. So that's one phase, isn't it? And then this user wants to buy something from, let's say, e-commerce site. He signs it, right? So he signs it using his private key. He attaches his certificate with a public key. It goes to the other side. Okay. Then the e-commerce store says, look, I don't know what this is. I don't know who signed this thing. Let's get verified. So it takes the certificate and gives it to the VA, wherever that may be. That could be within your computer, or that could be external to your computer. And then the VA has sets of trusted root CAs that they trust, and they will try to find if there is, if the CA, the signed, the user certificate is within the trusted root CAs. If they are, remember we also did on the TLS how they checked it, okay? So the checking goes on inside the VA. If it is okay, the okay is sent to the e-commerce store, and the e-commerce store says, we're good with you, you can purchase this item. Okay, so if you then recall this thing, advanced innovative, okay, so take a look at this question that they have. They said, look, a security practitioner is designing a PKI, right? Design will include CA, RA, and VA. Choose the correct location for the CA. Okay, so what this looks like is, look, this person sends this is probably the certificate signing request going to the RA. RA says okay, goes to the CA. CA creates the certificate, gives it back to the user. CA also gives to the VA, all the trusted root CAs. And this person signs the document, uses the shop, okay, and the shop takes the certificate and checks it against the VA. If the VA is good, sends the okay back to the shop, and now the transaction completes. Okay, so the CA will be right here. Any questions? No questions. Very good. Okay, either you guys are really smart or I'm a good teacher. Or maybe a third option, that you're not there. Okay, but anyway, so here we go. And I don't know which one that is, but it's okay. Here we go. We talked about PKI concepts. PKI security issues. Okay, so here, let's take a look at this, right? Okay. Distribution. Okay. CA issues digital certificates. Sounds fine, right? Distribution must be handled in a secure way. Distribution of what? Certificates, right? i.e., confidentiality and integrity of private keys. And so what's wrong with that statement? Or what is assumed in this statement? What is assumed in this statement? The question is, why is the CA distributing private keys? Right? So this is the case with my friend with the CAT card, right? So yeah, if they are issuing a CAT card, oh, by the way, you know, I keep on saying CAT card, and people may not know what that is. So here it is, common access card, CAT card. There it is. Those are CAT cards. Yeah, Terry. The CAT card. Yeah. Isn't that funny? Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, so there you go. So hers got run over by a car. Okay, so here they're assuming that the private key is being distributed by the CA, which CA doesn't usually do, but in a CAT card case, they do. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Today on the walk, my dog was chasing these feral cats, and there were people that were feeding these feral cats, you know, and they got upset with me because my dog was chasing the feral cats. Yeah. My dog's, I mean, he's just being a dog. So there you go. And so of course, if it is, so this is a Big Brother thing going on here. You do have to definitely, if the CAT card is being distributed, and then that must be protected, right? Key storage, issued key pairs. See, here we go. Issued key pairs. Once again, Big Brother, should be stored centrally. Oh, user may lose their private key, so they must be stored for them. Okay. So by reading that, you know that it's off a little bit, okay? But knowing that these things do happen, of course. Now let's talk about retire keys. All right, keys retire, really? Okay, so the keys then have expiration, right? And I'm not sure, yeah, I think on the TLS we did an example where we looked at the certificates, and there was an expiration to it, okay? So it expires for many reasons. But one, if the certificate and the key pairs are out there for a long time, people may break it, right? Like break into it, right? And of course, these CS have to make money, so I'm sure that's why you have to update it like every year. But once the key expires, certificate expires and the key expires with it, retired key should be used just to decrypt already encrypted text. That makes sense, right? So if the keys are expired every year, and let's say you stay in the company or an organization for 20 years, that means you're going to have like 20 keys, right? And then you got to keep them, keep track of which document like was created which year, encrypted which year, so you can use which key to it. That's a headache, isn't it? Is there an easy way to manage this, the documents and keys? Or is it, having 20 keys is the only way? Any ideas? Is having the 20 keys the only option? If the key retires every year and you're there for 20 years? Harry. Use the same keys. Same public and private keys. I don't think so. I mean, I guess you can request it, but let's see. Same key? Well, but the thing is, private key and public keys go together. So you can't just, if you reusing the private key, you're reusing the public key as well. Okay, so Terry, when they renew certs, is the key being reused? Only the certificate is being updated? Oh, is that right? Wow. Oh, there it is. Renew the certificate with the same key. Ah, look at that, Terry. Let's see if that comes up. Okay, so renewing a certificate. Interesting. This is the first time I actually look at this thing. So, renewing a certificate with the same key provides maximum compatibility with the past uses of the accompanying keys pair. Yeah, right. So you don't have to do anything special with it. But it does not enhance the security of the certificate and the key pair, right? Because the idea is that, look, it's been around. You have to renew the keys so that people don't have more opportunities to try to break the key pair. Users or local admin is the minimum group membership required to complete this procedure. Review this in detail. Certificate in a detail pane, select the certificate you are renewing. On the action, point to all tasks and renew the certificate with the same key. Ah, there you go, Terry. There's that option. Wow, I didn't know that. I guess that's why I'm no longer an MCSE with the new servers. Okay. But that's an option, isn't it? Right? So very good. So that would be one option, Terry. Good for you. And let's say that you don't. Let's say people are more towards security, so that the keys being updated. Is there anything that you can think of where you don't have to maintain 20 keys? No? How about this? And this does seem kind of tedious, but you only have to do it once every year. Is when you are issued the new key pair, okay? You decrypt all your old documents, your old key pair, right? And then re-encrypt them using your new key pair. How's that? Encrypt as in, like, you know, so you're not using you're basically are not using the you're not using the asymmetric encryption to encrypt the entire document anyway, right? Because that's not what it's used for, right? So asymmetric is used for signing documents, right? Signing documents. So you still have to maintain the secret key that it was used to encrypt the whole thing, right? So that's a separate issue, isn't it? So the secret keys are maintained separately, but you use the public key private key combination to encrypt the, you know, encrypt the sign the hash in order for you to decrypt the secret key, right? That's what basically what you're doing for. So you're not really decrypting the entire documents, right? Whenever you're using this, so it's basically about signature, isn't it? And the encrypted version of your secret key, because you need to have your private key in order for you to decrypt the secret key that was sent together when the document itself was encrypted, right? It's a combination, isn't it? Okay, so decrypt, just re-encrypt with the new one. You know, you still have to maintain all different secret keys in any case. Okay, so that could be some of the options. Okay, now if the keys are destroyed, if you don't have them anymore, well, then you can't do anything about it, can you? Right? You cannot be used for any purpose. Signing, you know, hashing, you can't, you know, signing the hash, you can't use for any of those purposes because it's gone. All right. Okay, so we talked about SSL. We actually talked about TLS. So secure socket layer, transport layer security, TLS, initially used to protect HTTP, HTTPS. We kind of talked about the story of Netscape. So you already know that one. Okay. In fact, there's several more slides for this. So let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Okay, and once we come back from that, we would just go for the rest of the time. So we'll go for like an hour and a half without a break. So let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break. Okay, and I'll see you back after that. Thank you.